Hi, Skype just crashed for no fucking reason.
It probably knew that we were starting, so, well, welcome back.
Hi, yes.
Hi, Megan. Thanks for joining me. So, tell me about the project you're working on.
So, I'm working on a game called Skatebird, which is a game about a skateboarding bird that tries their best. If you ever played a game like Tony Hawk or Skate, you've got a pretty good idea of what to expect. It's just that, but with a cute little bird on a little cardboard skate park and kind of on your desk. That scale of it gets compared to Micro Machines, if you like remember those
Micro
games.
Machines.
It's like
Great game.
that kind of thing.
Wow, that's cool. Around the office, we keep checking in on your Screenshot Saturdays on Twitter, and like the whole team is just, enamored with your game. It looks so cute. It looks really fun. How did you come up with this concept?
Well, Skatebird came to me whenever my roommate, Ryan, my partner, had a picture up on a GIF of a skateboarding bird, like an actual, you can teach birds to skateboard. It's this weird subculture of birders. And there's just one of a bird skateboarding, and it was awesome. And it's like, oh my God. Because at the time, Kev, someone I follow on Twitter, was working on a physical skateboarding game and had this really rough prototype that he'd gotten just far enough along to prove the idea, but couldn't make it work because, so if you have a physical skateboard, you can make the skateboard itself do cool physical things. But the second you try to put like an actual human skater on it and like use IK to stick their feet, it looks horrible because they're like a jelly person and they can't balance right, and it's very weird. The thing that hit me was, oh my God, I can put a bird on this physical board, and yeah, it'll look kind of goofy, but that's okay because birds on skateboards look goofy, and the whole idea spiraled from there.
Embrace it. So what's your creative process? Like, how do you tune your game? How do you make it fun? Do you have any tricks?
Nah, just hard work, really. I start by, actually, with this game, one thing I did differently was I started by making sure, once I had a concept that I was pretty sure could be fun, like theoretically, I wanted to make sure that first I could represent that concept visually in a way that didn't look like total butts. Because like if I can make a really cool game that like feels fun to play, but it's only cubes, and I have no idea how to make it prettier than cubes, just like boxes, I'm screwed. I can't sell that game. But if I first have proven that actually I can nail this visually, then I can actually sell it, because unfortunately you got to do both. So started by making sure I could make a bird on a skateboard that was like visually compelling and cute in a way that kind of sold the idea and the vibe. A game like this is really important to get the vibe right on, because if it's too serious or too cartoony, it's just not going to work. Once I had that, I just set about trying to make it feel good. Generally speaking, once I've proven that the game can be attractive, I just see how far I can push it being good feeling and something I actually want to interact with. So long as I can nail those two things, the rest is going to come naturally. If I can't nail those two things, the game is kind of screwed. If I can at least nail the visuals, it'll maybe be an interesting art project that's worth putting out for free or something. But so long as I can nail it, plays well, and it looks decent, it's going to be a thing.
That's cool. Like, how far away are you from releasing it on the world?
The date we have announced right now is 2019-ish, very air quotes. As we approach the end of 2019, the ish becomes more relevant. So probably not 2019, but we'll see.
Well, fingers crossed. So have you worked in the games industry before?
Yeah. This is my fourth game as an independent studio. I run and founded Glass Bottom Games. And before that, I worked in AAA at a company called, well, it was Net Devil when I got hired. Then it got turned into Playwell Studios, and I think it was Gazillion at some point in there. But we made Lego Universe there.
Ooh.
And before Lego Universe, I worked with a startup you've never heard of on a game you've never heard of. But yeah, so I've been in here for like 10 years total, I think.
Is there any kind of fun or funny stories about working in the games industry? It's having worked in the games industry myself, it's unique compared to others.
I mean, let's see. The most interesting one was in Lego Universe, seeing how a kid-friendly game has to react to inappropriate sculptures and artworks being placed into a child-friendly game. Like, so, and you think you've got this stuff nailed. Like, you've put down the rule that the moderation team is going to sweep all the properties and they're going to look for any dicks and anything else. And okay, this is maybe going to work. It's going to be expensive, but at least you got a plan. And then you still manage to completely forget that developers are maybe going to build penises. And then you run a play test in which, since you are doing a play test and it's on the developer build, you're exposing the developer database, not the public database. So the properties haven't been swept for inappropriate things. And then the kid manages to stumble into the one developer property that has an inappropriate thing in it. Not mine.
Damn you, developers.
It's just, and the tester rushes forward and like body slams the monitor kind of to block it. There's this giant panic. Who the hell made this property? Giant rules flung into being of you will never, ever, ever build anything appropriate in the game anywhere. And just seeing that even whenever you're Lego and your company is Lego and the whole thing is built around child safety and you treat it seriously, how even then an inappropriate thing can slip in. It's... I don't know if there's like an inevitability of the penis thing in here.
I think 100% of the games. I just think it's universal. It's got to be somewhere. So when you were a kid, were you into games?
Oh, yeah. Whenever I was 6, I bet my grandpa I'd make video games for a living.
Wow, that's some clairvoyance or determination, I suppose. So what was your favorite game as a kid?
Favorite game as a kid would have been Ultima 7. Specifically, Ultima 7 Part 2, Serpent Isle. But, yeah. It was by Richard Garriott. He did a whole series of games called Ultima. Well, they were all Ultima games. Ultima 7 was the first one that was both open world and in, I believe it was VGA or SVGA. It was very pretty, had 256 colors, etc. Ultima 6 is another one that people commonly cite. The only reason Ultima 6 wasn't my favorite is because it was a really hard game to make run on my computer. And my age group was just 1 year too old. But yeah, those two games were super important to me.
Okay, last question. Well, second from last question. Do you have any tricks for promoting an indie game? So, someone that's just getting started and trying to promote their game, what do they do?
How can I give not douchey advice? I mean, the standard douchey advice is do community building and put your name out there. Like, yes, all of that matters, but if marketing were as simple as reading the marketing guide someone else wrote after their game failed and having your game succeed, marketing would probably more often result in games that succeed. So you need to read all of the standard marketing advice, but then what you really need to internalize is that marketing isn't something that you can tack on the end of a project. Marketing has to be built into the game from the beginning. It's why whenever I start a game, I don't start by, can I make this fun? I start with, can I make this appealing? And appealing doesn't have to mean visually beautiful. It means it has to be appealing in a way that if I put a video up of it, a significant number of people go, oh my God, I want to play this. Like, for instance...
It works. Around the office, we're like, we want this so bad.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, my game's, it's another thing. But, like, Goat Simulator is a great example as far as... Goat Simulator isn't ugly, but like a goat that doesn't animate very well with the tongue that like stretches. There's a lot about this that you could argue is visually unappealing, but it's still appealing in like a conceptual fun way. So long as you can figure out some way of making it appealing, it's building a game for marketing from the beginning. And that plus compelling gameplay, you've got something that can actually market. Start there. Don't start at I'm going to make a Discord or I'm going to make a mailing list. Start by making something that can be marketed.
Awesome. Thanks. So what's the best way for people to find your project and follow along?
Well, you can go to the URL skate, S-K-A-T, burb, B-I-R-B, rocks, R-O-C-K-S. You can just search Twitter for Skate Burb. That's a B, not a D at the end. You can also look for me on Twitter, Glassbottom Meg, or just search the internet for Skatebird or Glassbottom Games, and you'll find me.
Awesome. Hey, thanks for taking some time and talking to me today.
Thank you.